Good Thursday evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the X-Files. I am Uncle Bill. This is RamboRaph, and we're waiting on Mark, who for some reason is on his own fucking time zone. He just comes in wherever he wants to. So we'll just give it a couple minutes and see, if he's going to come or when he's coming or what's going on. In the meantime, though, man, I understand that you watched one of the greatest horror films ever committed to the silver screen with Skinamarink Skinamarink and you loved
I'm glad
it.
I got this one.
Yeah. You gave it 5 stars.
This is not hyperbole. That is one of the most boring fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. This comes from a guy that loves the Blair Witch Project. And that if you love movies that show your ceiling more than you look at the ceiling in your own home, if you love look at the carpet and dirty ass Legos for like 40 minutes and nothing happening and no story and full of shit. If you hear a cat, that cat, because I'm listening to it, is having PTSD because it was in here watching with me and watched that piece of shit movie, Skinamarink. That movie is worthless, pointless, unscary. It's, I think, for TikTokers, bootleggers, whoever the hell it's for. I don't know. Scary my ass. I've had wet dreams worse than this fucking movie and its nightmarish dreams. It's literally 5 minutes looking at a wall socket, 5 minutes looking at the corner of the ceiling, and each person talks. It's like they're right over here or they're right over here, and you just see the background or the top of a closet and things fall. There's barely any story except a few whispers. Because, I don't know, the hiding from the fact they're in this shitty movie. I don't know. And did you see? I know, I think CK mentioned he got like 30 minutes and gave up. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't even tried to watch it yet, and I'm not positive if I even will. I mean, we were supposed to have to review it, but
I saw that.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I'm going to try to review that or not, just based on what I, have heard.
I look for you trying to explain the plot. Or CK, I mean, you try to explain the plot because it's above my pay grade, I guess. Because there ain't no plot.
Let's ask somebody else who may or may not have seen it. So here's the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey. Oh, yeah.
Yo, what's up?
How you doing, Mark? Hey, have you seen
good.
Skinamarink yet?
Unfortunately, yes.
Did you love
You
it?
saw
Like
the
Rambo?
Mark's movie.
I have the same reaction Rambo had, honestly. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't get the hype, honestly.
So, CK and I have seen a lot of horror films, so it's really rare when he just texts out of the blue and he's like, dude, like, what the fuck am I watching? He's like, that's a very rare occurrence. So, like, I knew there was something bad wrong when that happened.
Yeah.
It's not a movie. It's a wannabe YouTube video for 100 minutes of just random shots. If you're afraid of your toilet disappearing, because there's a shot of a toilet disappearing and reappearing. Maybe if you're afraid I'm afraid of my toilet disappears.
Everything.
But I don't need to see that in the movie. Okay, Stuntman, can you explain the plot to me?
No, I don't think the writers can explain it. It's just trying to be different for the sake of being different, and it's just incoherent. I think it's a mess, honestly.
Half the movie is literally this. Like that'd
be killer.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. That's pretty much how I would describe it.
Or there's a wall side, like I can't even fit it. Like just staring there, and then there's a weird noise.
Oh my!
So good luck with that. I dare you to watch it without getting up or sleeping. Good luck.
I'm really, really looking. That's my worst nightmare. If I have diarrhea, the toilet disappears. Yeah. Oh, so and thinking about that though, I was thinking about like sci-fi movies and things like that too. And in terms of alien abduction movies in particular. So before we get this started with the seasons, of course the X-Files had several movies, and the one alien abduction movie that I think is probably like set the bar is of course Fire in the Sky. I'm sure both of you guys have seen that movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me that's a classic, but there's got to be more too, right? Like what are some other like alien abduction movies that are actually good?
Have you seen Communion?
Mm-mm. No, it came out from Screen Factory recently, but I didn't get it.
Right, they did put it out.
Yeah.
I missed that. I didn't get it. Is it still in print?
No, it sold out like freaking a month after it got released.
I'm gonna have to check for an eBay listing now.
Yeah, a couple people are mentioning Communion too. I've never seen that movie. I know,
it's pretty solid for like a 90s alien flick. I think when it comes to 90s stuff, I would probably say Fire in the Sky kind of like set the bar. That one's kind of tough to beat. I'm trying to think of some more from the 90s. That was like the peak era for that type of movie anyway.
There's that Julianne Moore movie, The Forgotten.
Oh,
where
God.
people just zip the sky.
Yeah.
I forget about that.
Jerry L says Dark Skies.
Dude, like the 2011 movie or 2012, somewhere around there. I hope he's not talking about that one. That is not good.
Sadly, I keep thinking of like really bad found footage movies that I've seen that deal with that, and I've seen like sadly like 500 found footage movies. So
right,
probably since they're like 200. So there's a lot of bad ones of those.
Mm-hmm.
Fire in the Sky made that work because when it was inside, it wasn't fancy. It was actually really gritty in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
It was like gritty and dark, and the alien abduction felt like, in a weird way, more horror than sci-fi. Not fanciful, but very, not bloody, but it was very creepy. I don't know how else to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's based off the book, the Travis Walton Experience, or something like that, and it's inspired by true events. So, I mean, they wanted it to be as gritty and as grounded as possible.
He was on Joe Rogan not too long ago telling the story and everything too. Mm-hmm. For people that want to check that out, Carter mentions one that I haven't even thought about in years. The Fourth Kind. That movie
Mila
sucked.
Jovovich.
God, that movie sucked.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one either.
Yeah. Wasn't quite as bad as apparently Skinamarink, but
one that's not Abduction. Oh, go ahead.
There's one I didn't mind from I was thinking of Blair Witch. One of them did kind of reverse of it called Altered, where the humans kidnap an alien.
Yeah.
And for a straight-to-video film, wasn't that bad. I mean, better than Skinamarink the movie or whatever the hell. Skinamarink.
We got a question that's pretty good on here too. Crash asks, is there an X-Files episode you wish was turned into a full-length film? There's several, actually.
Yeah, quite a few.
They did it with Home, though. It's called Wrong Turn, if you want to see the full-length feature film of that. But let's see. I would love to see one with Squeeze. Like, that could have been a full-length film easily. Mm-hmm. Pusher could have been. That's going to become.
I was going to say that.
That would be a great one.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them almost had like built-in franchise kind of guys. You know what I mean? Like they got popular enough to where they could have probably carried their own movie. I would have watched any movies like that with some of the standalone ones.
Yeah, for me, it would have been a monster one like The Host or Detour or like one of those monster ones. Would have been better than the Host, sequel. Yeah. I want to believe this movie's good, but it sucks ass.
I really wanted to believe that movie was good too, Rambo, but that movie was pretty fucking bad.
It's a really bizarre plot. I mean, you
Yeah.
could say some of the plots of the actual Monsters of the Week episodes are bizarre, but this is like really, really out there, and to the point where it's like it's not even interesting, really. And they try to deal with faith and a lot of other elements that are
all the stories to pick to do a standalone movie. Head transplants is the best you got. Like all these other ideas, head transplants, an exhibit. Isn't he? Was Exhibit?
He's one of the FBI agents. Yeah.
It's not as bad as Sticky Fingers, at least. Sticky Fingers showing up and shit for a while. Here's a good comment though, real quick too. Love the previous X-Files episode. The one complaint I had was Chris Carter spent years telling fans that all of our questions would be, and he did too. Instead of answering them, it seemed as though the mythology arc collapsed under the weight of its own branching plot lines. I wholeheartedly agree with that too. And he did used to say that shit all the time. And he was like, yeah, at the end of it, it's all going to make sense. It's all going to like come together. And then it kind of came together. And then he made like more movies and more like episodes. And then
season 11, I think it's the first episode of season 11. My Struggle 3 is what is it's the biggest like spit in the face of all the fans. They spend the entire like season 10 like giving you all this stuff with the mythology episodes, like, okay, here's this, they set all this stuff up, and then in season 11, that first episode, they take it all away, like, oh, none of that happened. And I know, Rambo, you had a big problem with that. You were talking about that last time.
Yeah, it was like, wasn't it like a UFO, and it seems like things are dire, and then the next season was like all in her head, like a vision or something?
It was the invasion at the end of season 10, and we're thinking like, oh shit, it's all coming together. It's all finally happening. They're here, and the whole world is watching, and I think the whole world is experiencing some kind of breakout of a virus. Which isn't too far off given what happened with COVID, but
no shit.
Yeah, everybody was panicked. There was looting, which all really happened, and he couldn't pull the trigger.
Chris Carter was like, psych.
Exactly.
Fuck you, dick. Psych. Fuck Chris Carter. Chris fucking farter for that shit. Fucking
Psych.
Idiot. More That's what it was, like, psych. Nah, never mind.
Yeah. You can't trust Chris Carter. You just, here is his own rule right here.
That's what the talent was about. Trust no one. Chris Carter.
Stone Cold said it, man. DGA, you stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah. It was me all alone, Austin. It was me all
Steve Austin, yeah. What do you guys think about real life UFO sightings, like the legit ones seen by the Air Force pilots? Hooked on Chronics wants to know.
It's very interesting. That's another Rogan interview with I think it's Commander Dave Fravor and
somebody mentioned
Jeremy
that.
Cabello. Yeah.
Yep,
that's a good one.
I think there's definitely something to it. The only thing I don't know is that actual UFOs, or is that like weapons technology that nobody really knows about, being kind of tested like from the US government. I don't know which one is which, really.
They seem to think that it's actually UFOs. He talks about like how he's got like 44,000 hours of flight time spanning over like 2 decades, and he's seen every kind of plane, every kind of piece of technology. And they're also having, reports in Russia, China, other places that are seeing similar type of stuff. And they're saying it's not their stuff. They don't know what it is. They're having the same sightings. So there's something to it. There's something going on for sure.
Yeah.
As cliche it is, like Mulder says, I want to believe, but I do wonder if it's one of those things that, I imagine way, way back in the day, like stuff we can explain scientifically, like lightning and stuff. There was a time people thought they were the gods and all this other stuff. So what if it's something that in like 50 years will be explained scientifically, but now we think maybe it's aliens and things of that nature. I will say, if aliens out there, make it obvious. I don't know, go into McDonald's or something, take a page from Mac and
do that shit like in Signs and just kind of like hang back in an alleyway and just run across the screen real quick. Let somebody film
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you believe the whole Bob Lazar story, it all sounds plausible. I mean, they broke that story in like 1989, I believe, where he like went on television and he's like, I worked at S4, which is a location that's near Area 51. That wasn't even like public knowledge. And then the government, like, yeah, we have a facility called S4. Later on,
Yep.
they admitted it. He also talked about element 115, which I think is now called Moscovium. It's an element that is apparently not from this planet. They've been trying to synthesize it. It just got on the periodic table. They basically think that that's like the fuel that like fuels like alien spacecrafts, and it works with like anti-gravity emitters, which, you know, in technology here on Earth, like we can't produce gravity. That's something we can't do.
Yeah.
But this thing can like create gravity, manipulate gravity, and it's an anti-gravity propulsion system. So obviously from you guys hearing me talk, I'm pretty much into this stuff pretty hardcore. But yeah,
Here's the thing though, Mark.
Yeah.
It's called Moscovium.
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy. Do your research. Moscow. Moscovium.
Well, they did work with the Russians on it, so
yeah, exactly.
there you go.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone needs to film Randy Quaid getting updated as a short film prequel to Independence Day. Afro Well's in here. A lot of people in here. Wes wants to know if you think that Jason Goes to Hell would have made a good X-Files episode. It actually would have.
Yeah. I'd like to see Mulder fight Jason. That'd be awesome.
Like with the little demons shooting out of him, little spirit demons. Well, he asked, what do you think of Bob Lazar, Gerald? But you already kind of went through that, so.
Yep.
Anti-gravity, huh?
Yeah, that's the propulsion system that they used. That's what he.
They need to.
That was his field.
They need to stick that up Amber Heard's ass and have her leave the planet.
Tell you the story about when I got probed in the butt. It was one of my better Wednesday nights.
That's a dipping on the road.
Yeah.
On the road to the abduction.
On the road. That'd be a killer dipping on the road. Alien abduction. Okay.
I would see that Dead Put found footage movie. You guys could easily do that.
We could do something.
Skinamarink.
I was going to say we could do that. That'd be a killer. That'd be a killer parody to do. I just like go over to his house and film like parts of his house for like 2 or 3 minutes. Just like
Yeah, you got to remove all the doors and everything though. Make it authentic.
I can't do that. Piss him off. I mean, I could, but all right. So I don't know how exactly you guys want to do this, but I just pulled up and by the way, side note to this, season 3 is jam fucking packed with like awesome episodes. So I was looking at that earlier today. And so I just pulled up, like the different seasons on Wikipedia just to kind of like know what the episodes were and just kind of go through and pick some of the ones that are my favorite. I'm sure you guys have your own favorites too. Now we have the technology to do a separate screen where it shows my, I can share like the thing where it shows the episodes, but the thing about it is I don't know how big that will show up with 3 of us on here. So I'm not even sure.
You can try it out.
I can try it and see like what it looks like to people like looking at the chat, and we'll see. So real quick, I'll put us in this frame and then we'll see how this goes. So what does people in the chat, what does this look like to you? Is that feasible? Can you see it? Because I know
I see something now.
Oh, do you?
I see something now. So people in the chat, is that good enough for you? Big enough for you?
Do I need to
see it?
I think I can switch it around some too to make it bigger. If not,
yeah, maybe zoom in on your browser.
I can do that, or I can do this little ditty, and we'll be at the bottom.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Nice.
All right, that looks a bit better. Okay, how about that one? Is that one better for those people in here?
Looks great. Looks good. I can see it.
Nice.
Someone says zoom in just a tad bit.
Okay.
I'm not sure that was before you did it.
Yeah, I'll just wait because these comments are always delayed. Just tell me about the format right now, and we'll just start going through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Much better. Perfect. Yes.
Much better. Yeah. Also look on Operation Paperclip pretty well. Perfect now. Okay. All right. So we're good right now. So, man, looking at this, though, like the friggin', I mean,
Yeah, I was looking over, and I would say this is my favorite season. When I looked at the amount of standout episodes, I mean, season 4 is my favorite home, but just the collection of episodes, it's like very rewatchable, and like some of the best episodes, a lot of them are in this season alone. So I probably would say this is my personal favorite season if I had to pick.
Also, guys, like, I don't know if you noticed this, but on the side, it tells you like how many viewers. They're averaging close to 20 million viewers on this show at this time. Like,
that's crazy.
That's insane in today's, like, you know, TV world. So, like, each one of these episodes was close to 20 million in season 3. Which
especially
is,
for Fox. Fox Network would not get stuff like that. I mean, that was very rare for that Fox Network because it was usually reserved for ABC or CBS or stuff to get those type of ratings. But that showed just how much of a phenomenon this was becoming year by year.
Yeah. So I want to, I mean, the first one that I would want to mention, and you all might like have a different one, but just looking at this list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose would be the first one because that performance by Peter Boyle in that is just outstanding, man. Like, it's one of the best overall, like, kind of standout. Didn't he get an Emmy, or he may have been nominated for an Emmy or something for that episode?
He may have been.
It was one of the two. Like, he either won that or he was like definitely nominated.
You mean you didn't like Stu Charno better?
No, I didn't. Yeah, and that was the one that for the people that that maybe, you know, just kind of catching up and everything, where he's a psychic, or he's supposedly a psychic. And like the whole episode is just basically about them trying to figure out, like, is he really psychic or is he really not psychic? But, you know, they're trying to catch a killer throughout the episode, and you come to find out that kind of his, what you would call a blessing, is actually a curse in a way. Like it does something to him every time that he has these kind of like vision. He's kind of lost faith in humanity at this point too. And that's a big part of the episode, is just kind of him being sarcastically kind of, you know, I don't know, annoyed by everything that people do throughout that episode, which is great.
Yeah, he's just kind of like fed up with everything that's going on. And yeah, he has like this very smug attitude, not just towards Mulder and Scully in the episode, but more so just toward humanity. Like you said, like he's just kind of over everything because he knows how people are, and seeing the violence that everybody does to each other. He's just like, whatever.
Yeah, it's a really, really fun episode too. Just because there's a lot of interplay between his character and Mulder and Scully, which is really great. A lot of one-liners and stuff. Darren Morgan wrote it, so that makes sense. Like, he's always the one behind a lot of the
more
kind
comedic
of dark
ones.
Yeah, dark humor kind of ones too. But I don't know, guys. You picked
very tragic as well, because it's like by the end he kind of knows what's going to happen, and kind of, I don't know if I say he's cool with it, but he kind of knew what was going to happen. Just like, yep, that's what happened. That's what it is.
He accepts his fate. Yeah.
There's some great scenes, like standalone scenes in that episode too. One of them that it shows on the thing there is like at the end, not to give the ending away because I don't know how many people haven't seen that episode, but yeah, it's got a really cool visual at the end of it too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't want to spoil it either. That is pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. So looking at these, what do you guys got? If you can see these on here.
DPO is one of my favorites.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's Giovanni Ribisi and
Yeah.
Jack Black are like the 2 stars. And he basically has the ability to control and summon lightning. He uses it more so to like gain the attention of this character named Mrs. Kavit, who's the wife of the guy who owns like the chop shop or the mechanic shop or whatever he works in. It's a really good one. I wouldn't say it's underrated. I think it's one that people mostly talk about, but I mean, if we're going to be really honest, most of the Monster of the Week episodes kind of get overshadowed by Pusher because it's just so damn good.
It is.
But I don't want to jump.
That's a good one, though. I mean, that you're right, though. DPO it's definitely one that I remember, like, because for a couple of reasons, like you said, Giovanni Ribisi being in it, but also it's just like a really stylized episode too. Like you can tell the production values and the budget started going up in this season 2, and stuff starts looking better. A lot of the effects in it are really good. A lot of the electricity kind of effects and things like that are good.
Definitely.
And he does really good in it too.
There's not many other places you don't find Jack Black getting killed to filters. Hey man, nice shot.
Nice shot. Yeah. For those people,
that's one of the early episodes. No, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, I was just saying it's one of the early memories I do have of the show was watching that and just wondering what the hell this guy's problem is, Giovanni Ribisi, and just how obsessed he was with the arcade machine, and he would have DPO because that's what it is. It's his full name, Darren Peter Oswald, and he puts into the arcade machine, thus DPO. And usually with Giovanni Ribisi, like I see him in a movie, I get kind of annoyed with him, but here I actually didn't mind him.
You know what he was killer in, though? This is weird to say, but you know what movie he was actually really, really good in? The Gift.
Oh yeah,
you remember in The Gift?
Right.
He's like the emotionally disturbed kid or whatever that keeps coming over and seeing the psychic, and like he was really, really good in that role. But I usually don't like him either, though. I agree with you. He was actually fairly good in Saving Private Ryan too. Now that I think about it, but
all right, I forget about him in that.
He had a good run there in the late 90s, and then just
actually,
kind of disappeared into obscurity for a while. I tell you, like one that's well, I won't. Shit, I'll shut up. Matt, you pick one.
It's fine. You can go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm curious.
I was just going to say, like the one on here too that stands out to me because it's like more of a Brian De Palma-esque kind of slasher when it's Too Shy. I don't know.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody's sucking the fat.
Yeah, he's killing prostitutes and sucking out the fat out of their bodies. Well, let me make a correction.
Say that 10 times
prostitutes.
Fast.
Overweight prostitutes, yeah.
How many shows they have people sucking out fat? That's the X-Files for you. That's what the X is for. XX is just sucking fat all over the place.
double X-Files.
Triple X-Files.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Share one for Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, God.
I do remember that. That was... what was your favorite part of that? Like you said, Brian De Palma. What makes you think of Brian De Palma?
Just the way that it was like it's like a weird slasher kind of. It's not a slasher per se, but it's a stalk and like prey kind of episode, and like that's kind of what it reminded me of too. Plus the whole for some reason De Palma used prostitutes and like different kind of people like that in a lot of his films, so it always kind of reminded me of that too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes, we're very tiny right now. Like
The List is kind of a slasher one too.
It is, yeah.
It has awesome JT Walsh in it as like the warden. And I always like JT Walsh in pretty much anything. He's very underrated.
Yeah, and you even have Ken Foray in there as well as one of the guards of the prison. Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's kind of well, I mean, it's a prison horror story. Inmate gets executed, He feels it's wrongly, and he takes revenge on the warden and guards that kind of screwed him over.
Yep.
And not a whole lot of episodes that take place in a prison during that show. I can't think if there's another one, because that's the only one I could think of.
That's the only one. There's a couple like that are in like insane asylums and stuff like that, but I think that's the only actual prison episode.
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking, is there one that's in a prison besides that? Not really. Mark, you would know.
I'm a bit surprised.
Why the fuck I'm trying to think about it.
It seems like a venue for like criminals, all sorts of evil dealing. So I'm a bit surprised that there wasn't more done in prison. But I don't know, maybe it just wasn't there.
That one is like more of like I think it's like a Haitian like refugee camp in season 2. It's an episode in that one, but again, it's not really prison, I would say.
Right.
So let's see. Let's scroll on down a little bit further.
The one I was thinking of is War of the Cockroaches. Wow. The
that's a great
episode.
That's a great episode.
Where you have the entomologist Bambi, and Scully's like, her name is Bambi.
Right.
Yeah.
Like her name's Bambi.
Who was that, by the way? That was somebody too. Who was
Bobby Phillips?
Bobby Phillips. That's right. Okay.
She's also in TC 2000, which I just got from Vinegar
I just got that too. Yeah.
Yeah, she was so hot back then.
Or the Coprophagia. That's a great one.
Guess who was fun? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, guess who wrote it?
Darren
Morgan.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, you have the town pretty much going crazy, like over like what they think is like an outbreak of killer cockroaches, but it turns out these might be extraterrestrial cockroaches or possibly technologically advanced cockroaches that could be used for something else. You also have a pair of characters in there that are like huffing like manure in like the industrial.
That's right. Yeah.
And they pop back up later in the season, and I think it's the Quagmire episode, which is the one about the Loch Ness monster. And they're licking the back of a frog to get high. Yeah. And they pop back up again later in another episode later in one of the seasons too.
So they were the Beavis and Butthead, right? Like
pretty much, yeah.
that was the All right.
But that was interesting because it showcased just how all the deaths that happened in the episode, you find out were all accidents or they were all just acts of God. Like none of them were actually connected. It just showed how much paranoia can really infect a whole population, which we definitely know that's true when even over toilet paper, people act insane, let alone if they thought it was killer cockroaches.
Yeah, they were all like fighting over bug spray.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like
go ahead.
Sorry, it's almost like a satirical like in joke on just mass hysteria and you know what people do when like things are like running out, like when there's no supply of something.
And that's stuff creeped me out as well, like the rippling walls, and it's like thousands of cockroaches. Ever since like Creepshow, like that stuff creeps me out, and I thought it was even creepy in this one too. Although it's kind of a funny episode too. But what were you going to say?
I was just going to say the whole idea of after seeing Creepshow of the roaches and stuff like that, it's always freaking me out. Like especially in cereal. Like there's that scene where he's like eating cereal and then like, oh shit. So now like every time I open cereal, like I always check it to see if there's anything in it. Like it's just a habit.
Oh,
But this one episode here, though, this just caught my attention because Piper Maru, was that not who Gillian Anderson, like what she named her daughter?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. And is that the one where they get on the ship, but they get transported back in time? Is that episode, or is
that's in season 2? You're thinking of Dodd Calm from season 2.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So what is Piper Maru in this one?
So in Piper Maru, you have they're going underwater to find like this World War II plane that's been sunken, and inside is a pilot who's still alive, but he's only still alive because he's infected with the black oil. And that's the first time you actually see black oil in the season, and it gets brought back to the surface, And once that happens, then it starts to body jump, and eventually it ends in that episode with Krychek being infected.
That's right. I remember that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that he was infected. He's an old piece of trash. All right. So you brought this up last time too, Mark. So you tell this one too, because Grotesque is one that is kind of bizarre in a lot of different ways and kind of like unsettling. So yeah, just kind of tell the backstory of that episode as well.
Yeah. So I believe that's the one with God, what's his name? Kurtwood Smith. And yeah, it's like a demonic force jumping in and out of bodies, but it stays in one person specifically for most of the episode. And then you also have Skinner in that one quite a bit. Yeah. And I think Kurtwood Smith is like a former boss of Mulder, and they have like a kind of a long-standing beef, so they go back and forth on that episode as well. But the killer's like putting people in like clay and like forming them into like what look like demons, but they're like gargoyles, I think. Yeah, it's a really bizarre one, but still stands out a little bit because
it kind of deals with possible infection of madness because they think they got the killer, and you don't know until the end that it's Kurtwood Smith. And for a bit, you think like Mulder's going to slowly go insane. He's going to be kind of infected with this madness. So it's kind of a interesting, darker tale for Mulder's character.
Right.
And also, it has one of my favorite monologues at the end that I did write down because I thought it worked rather well. He says, "We work in the dark. We do what we do to battle the evil that would otherwise destroy us. But if a man's character is his fate, it's not a choice but our calling. Sometimes the weight of this burden causes us to falter from the fragile fortress of our mind, allowing the monster without to turn within. We are left alone staring into the abyss, into the laughing face of madness." And I thought that was a good way to end it. And I liked like Kurtwood Smith from RoboCop and many other stuff. I think he worked well. And with a decent amount of comedic ones with Clyde Bruckman is a little bit, War of the Cockroaches, Sizdy, which is another one, Jose Chunks from Outer Space. It was kind of a nice little bit of 180 to go a bit darker as well to show that, this is a show that could do both fairly well.
Yeah.
Listen, Jose Chung is probably one of my favorite. It's in the top 3. It's in my top
another
3.
Darren Morgan one, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, man, because like it's a classic because it has that idea that like everybody has like a different version of all the events that happen.
Story,
like, and sometimes it shows like the Men in Black, and sometimes the Men in Black are in fucking Jesse Ventura.
Yes, Jesse the Body shows up. Yep.
So yeah, he's one of the Men in Black, and like
Alex Trebek, the game show host.
Yeah.
He's the other guy.
He comes out. I remember Jesse Ventura's got some sort of monologue where he comes out of the car and he's like, "You probably think you've seen a UFO, but what you actually saw was Venus or something like that." He goes like, "Venus at this time of year." It's like a Twin Peaks episode. That's why I like it so much. Like, because it's very like non-linear and none of it kind of like their dialogue doesn't make any sense really, but they just kind of like, I love that episode though. And there's aliens in it. Like, don't the aliens like
the aliens have normal voices?
Yeah. You just that's one episode you just have to see, man. It's hard to explain it and give it like justice.
I like you were saying because people have their different point of view. Like one visualizes Mulder grows up and sees a body and he screams like a girl.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Or like the nerdy guy that keeps getting threatened and everyone keeps saying, "If you tell anyone about this, I'm gonna kill you." Like he said that everybody like stole it. And Scully's like, "I said what to him?" He said you threatened him.
And there's a guy that he goes to that's great in this too. I guess is that the writer of the book? that Scully goes to, and like
yeah, Jose Trent,
I forget who's playing that role, but that guy's amazing as well. Kind of like narrating the whole thing. Yeah, the slice of pie thing is straight out of Twin Peaks. Yeah, that whole trope comes right out of the show too. And it reminds me
He's
of
just coming and keeps ordering sweet potato pie.
That's right.
He would always ask a question. Have you checked every inch of your body? It's like just keep asking weird questions.
A lot of people seem to like this episode too. There's a lot of comments on it. Roswell.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my favorites. Okay. That would be one I recommend that anybody could watch at any time and probably like get a kick out of. But another one of the big ones, and probably also in my top at least 5, is right here, number 17 of that season.
Oh,
Pusher. Yeah. Now, Pusher's the story of he's an inmate, right? In the beginning of because he's getting transported, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah, well, so he's at a grocery store, and it's funny because like there's a little like tabloid that's a callback to the Host episode. He sees the Fluke Man on the cover, and he kind of laughs and chuckles at it. Yeah. But yeah, it's a setup to capture him. He gets captured, and then he uses his ability to get away. So for people that don't know, he's actually an assassin. He uses the ability that he has to commit high-profile hits, but all the kills look like suicides because they are. He uses an ability that he has because he has a brain tumor, and it's like in an area that's a part of the brain that's like not really like active, I would say, or something like that. And the tumor's like pushing on that area, and it's actually killing him, although he doesn't realize it how bad it is. But he is trying to like keep himself alive by eating a lot of protein shakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he uses that to kill people essentially. So whatever you say or whatever he says, you'll do essentially.
Yeah, it's like the power of suggestion to times 10, or you have to like do it. Which, by the way, is also a trope that's in Dr. Sleep. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but there's a whole character based around that idea where she like whispers stuff into your ear or tells you to do something, and then you have to do it. Like,
yeah.
Bunch of bullshit. Stephen King ripped that off. he may have, man. I don't know.
He might have. I mean, he did write an X-Files episode, so he was a fan. He was watching.
I told you though, I love the part in that like before you really know what's going on, there's a part where like they're removing him from the facility and like they're sitting at this stoplight. Him and two FBI.
That's the opening.
Yeah, and he just keeps repeating like cerulean blue to him, which is the color of the car or the truck or something that's coming. And so the guy just pulls out in traffic and then hits the car so he can get away.
Yeah.
That's always a cool. And there was another part of it too where isn't he like really into like samurais or some shit like that?
He thinks he's a Ronin.
Yeah, that's what it is. So he takes out these ads in these like samurai karate magazines and stuff, and like so it's just a really unique episode amongst everything else. And the guy playing that part, which I could figure out his name here.
I can't think of his name either.
I can't either. He's not like a well-known guy. Like he didn't go on to do a whole lot. But he was amazing in this role. I don't know why he didn't. Yeah. His name is Robert. Wait.
Yep, that's
Robert
him.
Wisdom. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what else he was in, but
yeah, the best death in that episode is where the SWAT team's like cornered him, and like the lead SWAT guy is trying to arrest him, but he tells the guy like he douses himself in gasoline, and then Mulder and Scully show up and they're like, "What are you doing?" He has a lighter in his hand and he's about to set himself on fire, and the guy is like bawling his eyes out, crying, saying, "Stop me, because I can't stop myself from setting myself on fire."
Yeah. It's brutal, but also like, isn't there something at the end where he tries to do it to Mulder or Scully? Isn't that how it ends? Like in some way,
he tries to get Mulder to shoot Scully.
Yeah,
he tries to get Mulder to shoot Scully, and Scully is one of my favorite finales of an episode because it's very emotional, and I think the two leads do a great job interacting with each other. Where They got like real tears coming out of Gillian Anderson's face, and trying to talk Mulder down, and Mulder just baiting for her to leave, baiting her to do this and that, and he's like trying to hold back, but it's hard not to. It's a pretty damn good ending, like finale for it, at least with the two leads, acting wise.
Yeah.
What just an overall great episode, though.
Yeah, it's probably the best one in the season, I'd say.
Yeah, and After is the worst one in the season. That one's a piece of shit.
Wait, which one?
I hate that one too. Yeah,
the one with the cats.
Queso dels bichos, bichos. Yeah. I hate that.
Fucking killer cats. Give me a break. I got cats. I'm not afraid of them coming in and slitting my throat when I'm sleeping. Fucking killer cats. Get the fuck out of here. Bullshit. You know, from like all these good episodes, and like, oh, what do we have? We got killer cats, killer pussies, killer titties. I'm not afraid of cats. Strays with Timothy Busfield sucked, and this episode fucking sucked. To me, it was the worst episode of the fucking season. And a really good season is like, Tiso dos bichos, whatever the fuck. No bueno.
Muchos. I wish that Carlos was in here. He could tell us how to like properly pronounce that.
No bueno. No
Syzygy
bueno.
is good too. I like.
Yeah, I forgot. I skipped over that one, but you're right.
That's the Ryan Reynolds episode.
Yep.
Yeah, the two girls have telekinetic abilities due to like a planetary alignment or something, and they use it on various people they don't like. That's
is that the where that was that the one where they're the high school students?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of like a Heather's vibe to it.
It does.
It does. Yeah. So you're right. So that one is the one like we were saying where like there's these two high school girls and there's all these like killings going on. You're trying to figure out like what they're in the beginning of the episode. You're like, well, what the hell's going on? Like who's doing the killings? And then that's right. You come to find out that it's actually them because it's just people that they don't like or have some sort of grudge against that they're like
they crush someone with the bleachers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Carrie style or
yeah. Yeah. There was some.
And also
really
affects
cool
the two leads. So like Mulder starts drinking like vodka or something, and Scully starts smoking. And one of my favorite changes is like they start getting mad at each other because it affects everybody's mood. So Scully's like, "Why do you always drive?" And Mulder's like, "I thought your short feet wouldn't reach the pedals."
Yeah.
There's one episode too where he says something to her like, "Come on, Scully, let's get them short little legs a moving" or something like that.
Right? Yeah, I remember that too.
All right, so let's see. The only other one on here that I really, really can remember liking was Quagmire. Wet Wired was good. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Quagmire, I liked a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a Loch Ness monster type tale in like a small town, basically.
So basically, they go looking for it, and the whole episode is dedicated to that. And then at the end of it, they disprove it. But then, like a little Nessie head comes up at the main end. You remember that? Like, yeah.
So Scully's dog gets killed.
Do they disprove it? Yeah, Scully. Oh, quick Quag, right? Like, eaten.
Yeah, he gets eaten.
Oh, quick Quag. We hardly knew you,
right?
So I'll be honest with you.
I did like. Sorry,
go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say, but we'll get to that in a second. But I'll be honest, like I probably will remember it more, but I don't remember season 4 as much as season 3 and 5. For some reason, like when I see some of the episodes, I might, but I remember like a lot of episodes in season 3 and 5, and not that many in 4. So I don't know if that's something to do with the quality of the season or just my quality of my memory. We'll see. But go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
No, that was cool. I was just going to say one more episode I'll mention real quick in season 3 I liked is one called The Walk, because I really like the idea where the guy has no arms and no legs, and he's got to project himself, and he's so angry at the establishment because he was a military guy who got his arms and legs blown off, and he's so angry at everybody. I remember one death where it's like in a pool, and like she grabs someone and pulls her right into the pool. I thought for a TV show it was a pretty cool effect. And I didn't mind the actor in it as well. I forget his name, but I didn't think that was too bad of an episode either. Like I do. Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't remember that episode. I don't know why. That one just completely escapes me.
That
But
one was
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, he's a quadruple amputee, and he's in like a military hospital, I believe, or something.
Yeah.
And he's going up against the other military that supposedly screwed him over. And he's not going after them; he's going after their family members because he wants them to feel what he's felt because he's lost all his limbs.
They kill
and
a
stuff.
kid in that episode, I believe.
That's always fun. Do that every now and then. He kills that guy's kid in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the quadruple amputee. And he uses astral projection. So it's not quite Invisible Man, but it looks like the Invisible Man because it's like a ghost. And he pulls like one woman into the pool to drown her and all this stuff. And like Stuntman said, I believe it. I forget exactly what he did to the kid, but wasn't happy.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one because I just do not fucking remember that one at all. I remember most all these, but that one just got past me somehow.
Before we do move on to season 4, what are you guys' thoughts on the mythology episodes of this season? I think it's some of the best, honestly.
I do too. That's what I was thinking. Like looking at a lot of these, I remember a lot of the mythology episodes, which is not the case in like the later seasons. Like they just kind of go by me, and I don't.
I'm
really
surprised, even without Strike Check.
Yeah. Well, at this point, they're really just getting into the mythology, and like they're getting into a lot of the characters that would kind of like play out through the rest of the season. But so it's really intriguing at this point. It's not fucking stupid and kind of like muddled down and like. There's a lot of it where you don't really know where it's going. Like you said, the black oil finally shows up, and like you start to figure out that it's some sort of virus and that it's alien, and that's like the beginnings of all that would go into the movie and stuff. But so at this point, it's more intriguing than it is just kind of, what it would later become, which is convoluted and things like that. So
yeah. I think well, just to give like a quick 2-minute thing on like the mythology of this season, for those in the chat that may not be aware. So in this season, it's mostly about like this digital tape that's been stolen by a hacker who was like an unofficial member of the Lone Gunmen. And I think they call him the Thinker. He's later like killed execution style, and they fucking throw his body in a landfill. But the secrets that he has on the digital tape are the project. Basically, it's 40 years of the syndicate's work of them trying to create alien human hybrids and working with the colonists for colonization when the invasion date does happen. So it's basically that tape is like bouncing around from person to person. At one point, at the beginning, like Mulder has it. Then they give it to Skinner. Skinner gets beat up by Luis Cardinal, who's the guy. He's like a Nicaraguan mercenary that shoots Scully's sister by accident. And then she's chasing him most of the season. Krychek is there too, which is awesome. He helps beat up Skinner. It's one of my favorite scenes. And yeah, it just bounces like from Krychek. Then Krychek goes against the cigarette smoking man. He becomes like a rogue assassin.
I do
try to kill
Krychek
with a car bomb. Yeah, it's a whole lot of like stuff with that tape most of the season. That's pretty much like what's going on. Eventually, like you find Krychek is like selling the secrets to like other countries, like the stuff that's on the tape.
So there you go. That's your breakdown of mythology before we get into season 4. You need to do like an audio book of this shit. Just like breaking down like
I got what you were saying before though, where I do think season 4 is a step down, where like season 3, like there was so many episodes I could go, that's a classic. When I look at season 4, like I could watch it, and even the lesser episodes I could watch because I'm such a fan. But other than Home and maybe Leonard Betts, maybe Small Potato, like there's maybe 3 that I would put up there. The rest are kind of either or what the fuck, or like some other stuff, like the feud where I died. That was like a what the fuck episode for me.
Yeah,
like
I actually liked that episode though. You mentioned that episode. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Go for it.
Something about it.
That was the one where it's like past lives, right? And he's like from Mulder was in the Civil War in the past life.
Yep.
Maybe I have to rewatch it again because probably the last time I saw that was probably 10 years ago. So after the revival and how much that sucked dildos, it probably will look a lot better.
Yeah. I think you might appreciate it a little bit more if you go back to it.
Yeah.
Shit, my computer's basically telling me
the alien bounty
hey,
hunter. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just telling me, hey, guess what? You're not gonna fucking get to season 4 on here. Come on, man.
Oh, it's not loading up?
No. Shit. I was wondering if it would start fucking up.
I was trying to stall. I was trying to stall because I see that the website's like bending you over for some reason. What the fuck?
All right, here's what we're gonna do.
Is it Wikipedia or is it the browser?
It's just too much. It's just doing too much for this quality of this computer, I think. All right, we're gonna shut that shit down for a second. And then I'm gonna bring it back up and then try to do it another way. So you guys give me a second here and you can talk amongst yourselves like we're in college or something.
Yeah, also another thing in season 3 we find out Scully has like the alien implant at the back of her neck. I think that's in the first episode of
Oh
season 3.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, she removes it, finds out that it's like categorizing like her thoughts and like keeping a record of everything she ever does. It also has when she removes it, she gets cancer basically.
Cancer, yeah. Because in
that
one, Leonard Betts, that one is him. He eats cancer, and that's how we find out she has cancer because he wants her. Because then she realizes, oh, I got cancer and stuff.
Yeah. Like a group of women that are like part of the mutual UFO network, like tell her like you'll get ailments like, you know, we all do based off the tests that have been done to us, but they don't know it's because if you remove the implant, you get cancer basically.
Nope. There you go.
There we go, boys. So yeah, that worked out. Season 4, I don't have a lot of memories, like I said, of season. So let's see what we got. Herrenvolk.
I like that one.
That's the alien bounty hunter. That's the bad guy in this movie, Brian Thompson.
Yeah, Brian Thompson. Yeah, he's great.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's chasing
Where
Jeremiah
the fuck
Smith.
did he go in the last couple seasons?
He's the last time we see him is season 8.
So I guess so much for his importance, I guess, and the revival. Thank you, Chris Carter. That's the thing. Like all these people disappear. Like that Jeremiah Smith guy. I'm on this. I don't remember if he died or not.
I think
the
he
little
does
boy
later.
that was the chess prodigy.
Oh,
give some praise. Yeah,
give some praise.
Did he come back in the later ones? The last two seasons, like a PTSD memory. I can't remember.
He comes back in season 8, and that's the last we see of him is in season 8, and like he goes into hiding because the syndicate was like after him. They wanted his life because he could expose all the secrets, basically.
Just as a side note,
that revival. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just looking at this and like as the middle of the season comes, like it gets up to almost like 30 million viewers in a couple of these.
Wow, that's a lot.
So,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean it was really, this must have been like the peak of the whole thing right here. So they started out basically the season with home. It was the second episode. So Jesus Christ, man. Like they weren't even like fooling around at all.
No.
So I don't know, man. Like home is one of those episodes. If you've, like I said, I've said this a million times, but it's true. If you've seen Wrong Turn, then you've seen Home. So basically they go out to investigate the death of like an infant. And I can still remember that scene too, because like in the beginning of the episode, like something's happening. You kind of see it, you kind of don't see it, but you know, there's a baby that's born and then like something happens to it. Then there's like a kid playing baseball and he's kicking up like the dirt with his cleats, and he ends up like kicking up like where they buried the baby. It's like that's the beginning of the episode.
It's like, a deformed fetus, a bloody deformed fetus.
And you find out that it was born alive because it sucked in the dirt. So like it was buried alive, and I'm like, wow, this is one of the main reasons why I got a lot of controversy during that time. But
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
badly. I wish they could have done more of that.
it was just about as much as you could possibly do on network television at that time. Like, I mean, really. So then you find out that, like, as Mulder and Scully like go down to the town, they start investigating and things like that. That what it is basically a family of inbred siblings and a mother that's underneath the bed. Yes, that's her. Who are mating like all the time, and she's basically just a sliding kind of I don't know. She'd call it like a
Dumpster.
Yeah, a dumpster.
Type of dumpster. CUM dumpster.
Oh
There you go,
God.
YouTube.
That episode is all shades of fucked up though. Like, it really is.
I mean, also like remember the sheriff is called Andy Taylor from Andrew Griffith's show character. Like that's just completely turned that on a 180, like take like this nice quaint town and just make it as completely depraved and horrific as possible. I mean, that's the closest I think the show got to like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of vibe with the farmhouse, and I even like remember the traps. Like holy shit! Like just
that was cool.
Didn't one of the deputies get like harpooned or something? Like a trap?
I think he got his head cut off by an axe.
Yeah, he got like decapitated.
And that was the thing too. Like a lot of that stuff you see in Wrong Turn, like a lot of the same kind of like shit. So it's like all the booby traps and stuff. Like, but in that episode, like they go to the house and like they're gonna round them up or whatever and question them, and then like they just have all these traps set up and end up killing. Like and all of the whatever you want to call them, like siblings, have that look that looks pretty much like the mutants in Wrong Turn. They're all kind of genetically messed up and inbred. It's a tough watch though. It's a hard episode to get through. I love the part though where they finally figure out where she's at, the mother, and they pull her out and they start questioning her about like what's been going on, and she gives that like monologue to them, you know. Oh, that's a great scene too.
I mean just the reaction, because at first they think it's a victim, like they don't know. It's that realization that it's their own mom, and just she like crawls back under the bed, and Mulder and Scully's face is like my face. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But what else could you do? How else could you react to that? It's crazy.
Oh, I see in the chat, Black Forest Cake. That episode is called Gender Bender. That's in season 1, and you find out that they're not Amish or whatever. They're like and they're not a cult either. They're actually aliens.
I'm not sure. Yeah, what? Every time I show a comment, like it completely like goes over top of us. So try to make it work somehow or another.
That episode also features the debut of Nicholas Leia in the show. He's not Krychek yet. He's just like a random character.
So did you both see this when it came out or after? Home.
Oh, when it came out.
I think
when it came out.
Like I can remember seeing that one. I'm pretty sure like right around the time that it came out, and because there was such a fucking like uproar about it and stuff too. By the way, like everybody was losing their mind, and like somebody had said like that they instituted the parental advisory warning after that episode, and like I think they pulled it on a lot of like stations and things like that. Like maybe only showed it like one time and never showed it again.
They weren't going to show it at all, according to Glenn Morgan and James Wong. He said that the studio almost made them pull it, but he said it was probably because they were so hot at the time that they were like, all right, just show it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great episode. Like it's entertaining as hell. It's just like really brutal too. It's like not something you would expect to see on a mainstream show at that time.
Yeah, I mean, like the sheriff and his wife get completely beaten the hell out of, like just completely stumped a big old mud hole. Just that didn't happen a lot, even on X-Files, like that much of a complete utter beating, and just they didn't hold back as much as they could for TV.
Yeah.
Did you like either one of you guys, Unruh?
Yeah. Actually, the guy who plays the serial killer is the same guy who's the killer in Identity.
Oh yeah,
he pops up in quite a few other movies. I can't think of his name right now.
I can't either. But in that one, he's like a painter or something. That he goes around on like the stilts and everything, and that's part of like she's trying to figure out throughout the whole episode like what the connection is between the height and all that. So and then she sees him and like he's the guy that's got the weird. It's an actual birth defect the actor has where his eyes will like twitch like back and forth.
Yep.
Like really, really fast. So it makes it like 1,000 times creepier though, too. Like when they finally corner him and his eyes are doing that whole thing and like it's him. And yeah, so but the whole plot line behind that episode is like the photographs. Like he's taking photographs, things like that, and like each photograph is like what the next victim or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. That's actually
that's a pretty good one. The actor's name is Pruitt Taylor Vince.
That's it. I always forget his name. He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. If you need like a creepy character actor, dude, for like a horror film, he's the guy. I mean, he shows up.
And he was in the City Slickers too, so that's even scarier.
Oh,
you're right.
That's a Legend of Curly's Gold, Bobs.
Legend of Curly's. I forgot about that. I love Musings of a Cigarette Smoking Man because that's really the first, and that might be one of the only like all William B. Davis episodes. Is there another one where it's just him throughout that entire series?
No, that's the only one. It's his origin story.
Yeah, so that goes, like you were saying, that goes back through his like time, like what got him started as a young guy, like, and isn't there? Maybe I'm kind of thinking about this, but doesn't he kill fucking Kennedy?
He does.
Like,
he's responsible for the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah. So that's how
he's like the evil. He's like the evil Forrest Gump. He's like associated with every major event, only in a bad way. Just it's all connected to him. And the actor would go on to play Cigarette Smoking Man's son, I believe. Or
that's right,
like Jeffrey Spender, the same actor.
Him. Oh yeah.
William B. Davis. What season he was introduced.
He was amazing in that role, though. But I mean, I love that they actually did that and like took time to do like a whole backstory about that one character because he was getting more and more popular as the seasons went by. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was the. Oh, nice. Yep. He's also the Great Mutato in the episode in Postmodern Prometheus.
Yep. It's a great episode. Yep.
Chris Owens.
Goddamn Cher song. Well, it's not a Cher song, but it's Cher singing that song. Yeah. Like Walking in Memphis. Yeah. So where else we going, guys? Like which ones of these? Because I think I was kind of right about this. Like these are not my favorites.
I like Sanguinarium.
Plastic surgery.
Like Dr. Giggles, right?
He's
like a medical guy, and I remember the beginning of that where there's like a person in the hospital and he's like sucking all the blood out of like during a surgery, right?
Yeah,
and it becomes like fat and stuff sucking up.
Yeah,
it's like
he's supposedly going to do a liposuction, but he goes further, and once there's no more fat, he's just like sucking out like blood and tissue and organs and whatever. Yeah, but it's basically like he's standing on like a pentagram or something, and it has to do with like this like evil cult type deal. But that's I kind of see what you guys are saying. I didn't really think about it until just now. Like some of the Monster of the Week episodes in season 4 are not up to snuff, like in comparison to season 3.
No, but I will say here's a standout one too, though. Paper Hearts. That's the Tom Noonan one. Well, and that also connects the Samantha plot line too with Mulder, because that's another thing too that hasn't really been mentioned on this show yet. Like throughout like this part of the seasons and things too is where you get the idea where Samantha disappeared and like Mulder's been trying to find her for all this amount of time, and like that's a big part of the reason why he was on the X-Files, and yada yada yada. And you think, because this episode Paper Arts is based on this serial killer who killed children and like kidnapped them and things like that, and he kept little trophies like and things like that, and you think that maybe he had something to do with the abduction of Samantha, which later turns out to be false in the episode. But like the way Tom Noonan plays it is really, really killer in it, like because he's kind of like leading you to believe that that's the case. But and they're like little dolls that he cut the hearts out of or something. I kind of remember like their clothing or something like that.
It's the dresses that all the little girls
little
wear.
Dolls. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He collects like a little piece of like their dress, but it's in the shape of a heart.
That's right. How you doing, Michigan Dipper? It's good to see you, man. And Jack Frost and a couple of people that have popped in that I haven't mentioned either. Sean.
Yeah, we have neglected the chat a little bit. Sorry,
well,
guys.
the problem with the chat is if I put the chat on, then we're fucking all covered up. So it's like, I can't. I'm just going to read the comments. Oh, yeah. So Wes wanted me to mention on here, too, that there's a long lost episode of Epic on the Road that's coming up too, where we actually reviewed the X-Files movie, but it got taken off of YouTube. I'm guessing because he put a trailer up or something on it. There was some reason like that, and it had been removed for years and years and years. That's going to be like added to the site and stuff. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, that would do it as YouTube. I remember for a while your Halloween Rob Zombie was like muted for like years. And it's like there's no way for anyone to watch it. I think watch it now, but like I don't know, is it a trailer or something in the beginning? Is like it was fine, then YouTube's like, fuck you, we don't mute you, suck you, Kentuckians. YouTube don't like Kentuckians.
Man,
I think that's what it is.
They took all the really cool stuff off that we did. Like we had that oh god, the Pet Cemetery stuff and stuff like that up there that we did. It was one of my favorite things. They took all that shit off eventually.
That sucks.
Anyway, so let's see where we're at here.
The one I would mention is Leonard Betts because it has a Paul McCrane. If anyone's seen RoboCop, he's the guy that got turned to Toxic Avenger pretty much and smashed by the truck and turned to goop at the end there. Yeah. He's pretty much a guy who finds people who have cancer, consumes them, and then if his body's broken down like a snake, he'll grow, like shed his skin and keep going about his way. And that's where we first find out that Scully has cancer, which is a big part of the show as well. So it worked as a standalone monster show, but then it was also part of the whole backstory mythology as well. That's probably, I would say, one of the better episodes of the season.
Yeah. He also like submerges himself in like iodine.
That's right. He does. That episode also has some horrible like visual effects, like special effects.
Right. Yeah. When he regrows his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good. Yeah. I'm trying to look at some more of these. I remember Memento Mori.
Oh, real quick, like I now know what people were talking about. I think it was Synchrony. That's the one where someone's like about trees. Because I'm like, what the hell is the trees thing? That's the one with the tree stuff. Remember last year, was like, oh, there's killer trees. That's the one. Because nope, I'm wrong. Never mind.
Is the time travel episode?
I got the wrong fucking episode. God damn it! That's the other season.
Get your shit together, man. Golly.
Yeah, I know. It started with an S. It doesn't matter. It's shady. So it's another season. The S stands for. Just call it shit. It's fucking killer trees. Okay.
Yeah, that episode.
The fucking Triffid shit.
That episode is in season 5.
Yeah,
I think it's called Schizogenin. I can't fucking say it.
I can't either. There's nobody that can. I don't think
it's in the middle of the episode. I mean, in the middle of the season, the episode.
Shipbird the movie.
So Wes wants to know. I'm just going to read these comments. If we think they'll do the series in 4K eventually.
Well, who owns it now? Is
Disney.
it Disney?
Yeah.
Nope. I bet they
They
won't.
don't do squat.
I doubt it.
I mean, even there are Star Wars shows like Mandalorian, whether you like it or dislike it, they don't release that shit on physical. The most they'll do is release it maybe HD on a streaming platform.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know, it's Hulu or whatever format it would be. Physically, I don't think so, at least. I would love to be wrong, but they don't do squat with it. They're assholes.
So Jackson Jack says, "Shout out to Hydroponic wherever he is." Yeah, shout out to that crazy son of a bitch, like wherever he's at in the
Oh
world.
yeah,
Hope he's still alive.
still token up.
So Jerry L says, if anyone wants to buy the Blu-ray set at an affordable price, the German version from Amazon's around $100 shipped, and it's all region apparently. So
Nice.
there you go. All right, back to season 4 though. Where were we at? See, I just don't remember all these episodes, man. If I'm being honest, like Never Again, I don't remember that one that well.
That's the one Tarantino was supposed to direct.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't end up directing it because so 20th Century Fox, they were like, oh, we're getting Tarantino. He came to them. They're like, hell yeah,
that
we can do an
episode.
episode.
Another fucking awful one.
Yeah,
that's the guy with the tattoo and the tattoo
Jodie
controls
Foster's tattoo. Yeah, yep, that's it.
Oh, that's right. Jodie Foster's the voice of the tattoo.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically didn't join the Directors Guild union after he had done like the ER episodes or whatever. And they were like, well, you can't direct anything else on TV until like, you sign up or whatever. And he's like, well, fuck that. So it just didn't come together. And they wanted him to do something again later if he ever did sign, but it just never happened.
All right. What about, let's see.
Memento Mori's good.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's one of my favorites of the mythology part that I can remember from that season. Excuse me.
He's trying to find the cure for Scully's cancer.
That's mostly this whole season, by the way. I like him trying to figure out like what the cure and what started it, and if like the cigarette smoking man had anything to do with it, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, because like at the beginning, like you have in Herrenvolk, the first episode, X is killed by an assassin, which I think is gray-haired man. So the assassins have such weird names. It's like red-haired man, black-haired man, shit like that. But anyway, so he gets killed. Marita Covarrubias is like the successor, and she's like trying to help him find out like what's going on with everything too. And then eventually he gets to this high-tech facility in Memento Mori, and the lone gunmen help him, but they're like in the walls or some shit like that. Like it's kind of like they're like Mission Impossible style, like messing with like wiring and trying to hack into like the system so that he can get in and get out of different locations within the building. But Mulder gets shot at like 50 million times in that episode. The guy just keeps reloading the gun over and over, shooting at Mulder. That's a really good one.
So there's in there. Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say the one I don't mind that I see on the list is the one at the top, unrequited. Can't even say the word right.
Right.
That one I didn't mind the story. It was about a Vietnam POW who comes back and wants revenge, and what he does, he uses people's blind spots. So if you look directly at him, you can't see him, but if you look to the side, you can. And pretty much the guy's trying to have an assassination plot. I like that Stanner got a bit involved with it as well. He had a little bit more to do, along with Mulder and such. And pretty much Mulder and them have to stop the assassination plot. I like the take on the POWs in Vietnam. And like I said, it was nice to see Stanner get a bit more to do. Because anytime, the handful of times they gave him a single episode, they usually weren't that good. Or they were kind of forgettable. Like there's one he got poisoned for like most of the episode, and there was one like he was framed for murder for some reason. That didn't really make sense.
That was Avatar in season 3. The name of the episode.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's the only episode where we see
one
Skinner's wife, actually.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you remember Small Potatoes? That's a great little episode too.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
That's Darren Morgan is actually playing the little whatever you want to call him, like
a shapeshifter.
Yeah, he's a janitor, right? Who's like a shapeshifter who is also like impregnating all these women by shapeshifting. But the catch is that like him being a shapeshifter, he's born with this tail. So like all the babies are like born with the tail, and that's how they figure out like what the commonality is and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good though because there's a lot of like just kind of light humor in that episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the bit, especially when he pretends to be Mulder, and it's him just in Mulder's apartment. And as he says at the end, I was born a loser, but you choose to be it. You need to live a little, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Which is very true because he doesn't really do anything. He's obsessed with his job, really.
Watch porn tape.
Yeah, Garrett, you motherfucker. I told you need to start watching these episodes and getting in on this shit. But you want to be like, go hang out with the Rad Pack and do whatever else. So don't start on me. Get your priorities straight.
Garrett, why are you not in here, man? What's the deal? Come on. There's no excuse. You should.
I told you what the deal is. Too much damn Rad Packing. There's too much ratitude. So Jack Frost wants us to cover Kaddish, though. Kaddish, sorry.
Okay.
Cover Kaddish, Mark, because I have no friggin' idea.
Oh, actually, before I do that, Matt Ray has a good point. I do remember that episode. It was supposed to be a crossover. That's Red Museum from season 2. CBS did not want to do the crossover. I don't know where they would have gone.
Picket Fences, the TV show.
Yeah, that show only lasted for like 4 seasons. I think.
Tom fucking Skerritt, y'all.
Yep, Tom Skerritt. That's right.
Isn't Picket Fences like a much weirder show than you think? Because I thought it was just like a regular drama, but then people are like, no, there's a lot. Or is it? I've never seen a single episode of Picket Fences.
I think Picket Fences was just your kind of run of the mill like sitcom kind of thing around that time period, wasn't it? Like that's what I remember it being. Just kind of.
That's what I remember, but I didn't watch it, so I'm not a big expert, but I do remember.
That's a random crossover, like.
Yeah, I think Carter said like he met the like creator of it in like a parking lot, or maybe he already knew him, but like they had a conversation in like a parking lot, and they're like, "Oh, this would be a great crossover," and they were gonna have like characters from one episode go to the other, and like vice versa. So, but it just didn't happen.
All them Picket Fences fans.
Yeah,
with that crossover Elf.
What's weird is that Picket Fences was huge, but it just shows you, man, TV was like huge back in this time period. Like shitty shows like that were probably drawing like 15, 20 million people. So, I mean, nowadays you can't draw like 1 million people on most of these shows.
Yeah.
Zero Sum.
Kaddish? I don't remember Kaddish. I don't know what the hell.
Sorry,
Kaddish.
I got sidetracked. Yes.
I don't remember what the hell.
Yeah, so
I can't remember that.
It's like a family of Hasidic Jews that are like so one of them in particular, I think, loses like I think it's like the daughter loses her husband or something, and she brings him back with like some kind of I don't think it's a curse. She uses some kind of thing to bring him back, and then like, but he can't be killed. It's kind of like The Crow in a way. It's more like a revenge story, but he's back from the dead, and she like summoned him somehow. That's pretty much the gist of the episode. It's not bad though, but it definitely is overlooked, I would say.
Yeah, I don't remember that one that much either, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they call it a golem or golem or something.
Oh, the golem, yeah.
It's like in the Jewish culture, it's like some kind of mystic creature or something. I think like that. It's something like that.
So if Garrett's still in here, I'm gonna ask him this question, and there's only one right answer, Garrett, just so you fucking know. Do you want to do the home watch along next week? Because CK's already in.
Nice.
And so you need to just get your damn shit straight and tell me a day. Because you're busy. Since you're busier than the president, you tell me a day, and I'll make it work. But we're going to do a home watch along, all of us together.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be one thing that is going to happen. I guarantee it. Especially for CK, because he's never seen it. You know. Let's see what he says in a minute. In the meantime.
I like Jack's comment.
What do you say?
I don't know if we could put that up there though.
Hold on. No, I don't think we
I
can.
see that.
But yeah, it is a golem. Yeah, that's right, guys.
Man, okay. So breakdown, because I am just at a loss at this point, and I should have done I should have gone back and watched some of this stuff, but I didn't. Break down the mythology from season 4, Mark. Let's hear it.
So in season 4, of course, we have Scully's cancer debacle, that whole thing. You also have the debut of the bees, and the bees are supposed to carry the gestational version of the black oil virus. Now, you can become infected with black oil like in a normal way, where it just gets on you and then it goes inside you and then it takes you over, and you're essentially possessed. And the black oil is basically the life force of the colonists, which are the gray aliens. So that's part of the project, though. They have to find a way to do a mass infection through a large populace, and they're going to use the bees to do it, to transmit, basically. There's also Scully discovers through smallpox vaccinations, there's a tag that's been put on pretty much I think it's over 100 million Americans who received the vaccination as kids. And which is kind of funny because that was in real life. Everybody's like, oh, don't get the COVID vaccine. Don't get the COVID vaccine. It's got something in it. And years ago, that was kind of a piece of the storyline, for this season. So that's pretty interesting. Some of the parallels they go back and forth with this whole mythology and a lot of different aspects of the show. But you also have Tunguska and the Terma episodes where Mulder's in a gulag, a Russian gulag.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're putting black oil in people and stuff and testing out the vaccine. And then Krychek is in there with him as well. But he can kind of communicate with them because his background is I believe he's a son of Cold War immigrants. So he's Russian American, so he can speak the language, and Mulder can't. So he's basically manipulating things that are going on while he's in the gulag to get released. Eventually he does get released, and then him and Mulder have a fight and everything ensues. They get back to America, and the roundup sort of gets toward the end where you have the other episodes, Tempest Fugit and Max. That's the return of Max Fennick, who we first meet in the first season. I don't know if you guys remember that character.
Max Fennick.
Oh yeah, it doesn't end well for them in this episode.
Right. Yeah, he is killed in the episode. He's abducted mid-flight on an airplane, which is an amazing effect. I'm not sure how they pulled that off, actually, but it's a really cool effect. You have so many different aspects of that character that he's got all this different information that he divulges and stuff like that to Mulder. Really useful character, but they end up killing him off, unfortunately. You also see the stiletto as well in this season, which is the only weapon that's known to be able to kill the aliens.
Yeah, the back of the neck, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I believe the first person we see that with is Brian Thompson's character, the alien bounty hunter. And apparently they only call on him for the most serious things when the project's going to be exposed.
Nice fucking job, Mark.
I mean, there's more, but I don't know if you guys want me to keep going.
I feel like that you could, but it's just
I don't want to take up all the time. Yeah. I mean, there's so much. It's so hard to cover I mean, I could do it, but again, it's
because we've only got 30 minutes for season 5. We've got a 2-hour time limit on this shit. So yeah,
there's so much in season 5. I don't know if we could cover it all.
Let's see if it'll let me do season 5 without having to restart that whole shit again. It'd probably like fuck up again. I'm gonna get mad, but we'll see. Come on.
But season 5, that's when you introduced to Veronica Cartwright from Alien, her character Cassandra Spender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she beats Scully, and a bit more about what may be going on and how Scully got cancer and everything in that sort. Because I think this is the season right before the first movie, I believe. I think right after this is the first.
The movie came out in 98, didn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and this season's in 98, so.
Yeah.
And in May 98, and I think the movie came out in the summer of 98. So I remember seeing the theater. And I liked it for what it was, but it couldn't answer everything. It's kind of like
Matt Ray is right. Sorry about the stiletto. We actually skipped Colony and Endgame.
Did we? I didn't even see that.
That was season 2 though.
Oh, okay.
When Mulder goes on the submarine that's frozen in ice.
So I can already see like a shit ton of episodes on this that I love. Like just the first 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Like there's some amazing stuff already in here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Well, I mean, are we going in order or just pick an episode or?
Just pick one because there's a couple of them. Well, there's 3 of them right there that I love.
Well, the one I thought was Bad Blood, just because of.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite episode of all.
You have the kid from the Sandlot in there. You have Luke Wilson in there. You have the different points of view. So when Mulder tells it, he doesn't like Luke Wilson, so he has much more of like an overbite, like these big teeth. He's like, "Hey, how's it going there?" He's just much more redneck in his version.
What's his name? Like Lucius Horrible or something like that. Like,
yeah, something like that.
How's it going there?
Yeah, like when he's telling it, like his teeth are all jacked up. Yeah. So
then
for people,
Scully tells it, he's much more heartthrob type of.
Yeah. So people that know this episode was the one where it's like a standalone episode where they go to this town. There's like a vampire that's something like a vampire that's supposedly like in the town. And the cool part about the episode that was that they tell it from different people's perspectives. So like Mulder tells a part of it, Scully tells a part of it, and like the parts are completely different the way that they see the way that things went. But there's so many great lines in that episode that I still quote to this day, where like there's that scene where so the vampire is this kid that's like delivering pizzas and shit, and he's just like this kind of like he's the kid from the Sandlot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where like there's an RV that's like loose and it's like kind of just driving around in a circle, and Mulder's trying to like get up and like stop the RV, and the sheriff's there, and he starts yelling at him, "Just bird dog it!" He goes, "Get in there, bird dog it!" It's a great episode though. And so there's a weird kind of subplot where like they're scared of sunflower seeds. So like if you sprinkle sunflower seeds or something, like it's almost like freaking holy water.
It's
something.
like a OCD thing or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So all vampires have like OCD in this world or whatever. Yeah, and so they have
like untied shoelaces.
Yeah,
because Mulder gets drugged and he throws it, and the vampire gets bad, and that's when Scully then finds Mulder and he starts going into Shaft. Starts singing the Shaft theme song.
Yeah, there's so much great stuff.
Because the way it begins, like he states someone, and then the teeth fall out because they're fake teeth, and then it's a wraparound, not wrapper, but it's him having to explain why he states someone. And the first thing you see Mulder's like kicking a trash can and like stomping on it and getting really pissed off about it.
Yeah, that is a really, really It's got some comedy to it. It's not meant to be serious, but it works.
No,
it works.
No, like I said, that's probably my favorite episode of any of the episodes. Like, I know that's odd, but like I just think everything about that episode works. Like the comedy, the way that it's told. There's actually some like fairly decent like scare scenes in it and stuff too towards the end. So I really like everything about that episode.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The vampire says something like, "Oh man," when he throws the sunflower seeds on the ground. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So anyway.
And we talked to, and yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, like, we talked about before, like Detour. That was a fun one as well.
Yes.
Where the invisible type of creatures in the forest. And I always remember the bit where Mulder's hurt and Scully has to sing that Three Dog Night song. Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also have a great line in the middle where they talk about body heat or something, and like being naked is like, and sharing body heat's the best way, but they need like a sleeping bag. And then I think Scully says something like, if it rains sleeping bags, you might get lucky. So yeah, that's like the first like little hint right there that they might have a thing for each other, I guess.
So, I mean, right here, though, man, these 3 episodes, you've got actually 4 episodes. So you've got Unusual Suspects, which is the Lone Gunman episode.
Origin story. For how they meet Mulder.
Love that episode, too.
Mm-hmm.
Detour, the Postmodern Prometheus, which is insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one where, like, it's the Elephant Man episode, basically. Where this kind of like Elephant Man guy is out in this town and he loves Cher for some reason. I remember that, like he loves her and like wants to meet her. But the town,
he's a fan of that movie that she starred in.
Mask. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
That makes sense. That's an awesome episode. And then Christmas Carol was right after that, which is awesome episode too. So there's a bunch of
really good ones.
Which one was Prometheus?
But...
Oh, go ahead, Mar.
I was just gonna say, but it's like the underlining like theme, like he's raping women, like after they're drugged. I never like I like the episode, but like when you break it down and look at what he's doing, like that's really fucked up. But you know,
it's Chris Carter.
Yeah,
he made
it. Isn't that the thing that gets them going up there? Is that all these babies are being born and like they're.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what gets the investigation started? I'm trying to remember like how it starts, like in that episode, like what gets Mulder and Scully involved.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. It's also got like a Jerry Springer like cameo.
Yes,
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all these babies being born deformed and like what's going on here, and that is a good point. Like he's doing all this and they didn't know about it, and now everybody's singing and dancing the share as if everything's hunky dory. I'm like, that's
you know, I never really thought about it until you bring it up, Mark. But that's true. Yeah, like he's just played as such like a cool character, like a nice guy character that you don't even think about the rape.
You really don't.
Just say like, "Oh, we're raping in Memphis, raping in Memphis, raping all the host desire to be." Jesus Christ! Good job, Chris Carter, man. What the fuck?
Katzengari is the sequel to Pusher, essentially.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Where we find out he has a sister, and she has the same ability.
Yeah, same power. Yeah.
Yep.
Now you mentioned Christmas Carol. Do you mean the one afterward? How the Ghost Stole Christmas? Because I think that's the one with Ed Asner in the minute. I think this Christmas Carol is a different episode.
Yeah, Christmas Carol is that's the one where Scully, like, she thinks she has a daughter, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are that and Emily are mythology episodes.
That's that whole like thing right there is really
watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're thinking about How the Ghost Stole Christmas. That's in season 6.
Okay. So what happened to Emily? Did she just disappear? Or
I'm trying to remember that too. That's what I was sitting here thinking.
Now I think about it. I know she goes into a coma, like at the end of the episode or something.
Yeah. Maybe she's still in the coma during the revival. Chris Card just didn't want to write her in or something.
So this one right here, guys, was huge at the time. I remember there being a big hub about this one because it's the Stephen King episode. I never thought it was that great. It's just your basic kind of like killer doll episode. But I mean, for it to be like the one that they hung everything on at that time, like so you got to tune in for this because it's the Stephen King one. It's just kind of
got a pretty high rating there.
Yeah, I mean it did, but it wouldn't matter if he farted on a snare drum. It would have got a high rating.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Mulder in it, and Scully doesn't really get to do much, and the doll, you don't really like see the doll walk around. I don't think it's just it kind of pops there, and
she uses like some sort of an ability to like make people kill themselves or something like that, or no, people see their death before it happens or something like that. I
don't remember except for the fucking little doll in it, really.
Yeah, and I think they kill themselves basically. Yeah, it's not the best, no.
The episode killed itself too, so good job, Stephen King.
Killswitch is okay.
Which one is Killswitch, Mark?
That's the one where like
William Gibson wrote it. William Gibson, the author, cyberpunk author.
Yeah, it's a cyberpunk episode basically. I know something like they have their subconscious like uploaded to like a mainframe or something like that. And then they're driving around with like this hacker chick the whole episode, and it's pretty good. If you like cyberpunk stories, stuff like that, like I think you'll really dig it.
That's the one where Mulder gets attacked and he's put into the AI. And he imagines himself in the hospital. He has like no arms and something.
Right. And
it's like
Scully
this crazy,
comes in
weird,
doing kung fu.
Dream.
Yeah.
Yep. Jumping jack kung fu kicks is Mulder's imagination.
That one sounds amazing. Patient X. This is the Cassandra Spender trilogy here, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was okay. Like I didn't mind that at all. And the whole thing with the syndicate and all that, I did not mind that version of the plot line or anything for the conspiracy.
Yeah, I didn't mind the Jeffrey Spender character either.
No.
I think it was more so the way he played him. Like it just came off. So it was just so well done. Like I didn't mind it. And then like they also have like the whole the alien rebels storyline as well as like interspliced into all this stuff, or they're trying to like kill all the alien abductees, and basically like they're trying to prevent the colonists from infecting everyone with the black oil during like a mass abduction or something on a bridge.
I don't remember Travelers at all.
I think that's supposed to. Isn't Darren McGavin in that? As the older FBI, and he's like,
I think so.
Mulder meets up with him, and so Darren McGavin tells like his backstory.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's when Chris Carter wanted Kolchak, but Darren McGavin refused to return his Kolchak. So this was kind of a medium where I still want Darren McGavin, so I'll create this new character, and he investigates like the first X-File, and it's all like a big flashback episode of this character.
Yeah, the young version of Arthur Dales, who is a small but reoccurring character in the series.
I do wish he had said yes. It would have been cool to have Cole Kolchak in this. I think that would have been better. But I mean, he didn't want to for some reason, but I would prefer that. That would have been really cool.
Yep.
I know you guys remember Mind's Eye too, because I definitely remember that episode.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Lily Taylor, who was in the Conjuring, seeing through her. you find out it's her father's eyes, this person killing people, and
Right.
which has been done in a couple movies. So it's not like an original idea. I mean, there was a few films in the 90s where was it Blinked or something, and those 90s movies where
Well, you had fucking an episode of Body Bags where there was a similar kind of thing with Mark Hamill, and then you had Body Parts with oh God, who's the dude?
Jeff Fahey.
Jeff Fahey, yeah. I mean, there's been all kinds of things all kinds of movies where that's been a part of it somehow or another.
She's blind. And I see right there it says it was like I guess her character was an inspiration from Wait Until Dark, the Hepburn character.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Wait Until Dark. Alan Arkin is badass in that.
For those people that haven't seen that, that's an old one that not a lot of people have seen. Older film. All right, so then
that's a pretty decent episode, yeah.
She was nominated for an Emmy for that? Shit, I don't know that. Lily Taylor, I mean.
Yeah.
All Souls. Kind of remember that one too.
I like that one. That one's a religious episode where like they think it's like I think they think it's the devil, but he's like going around burning the eyes out of all these girls. And I think that they're supposedly like angels or something. Yeah, it's a pretty memorable one.
I remember the iconograph stuff for it. You know what I mean? Like the pictures and stuff from it as being a big part of it. What's up, Mr. T? Mr. T's in here. Folly Ado. I love that episode. That's the episode where the guy's like at work and like he's kind of slowly losing his mind, or you think he might be losing his mind, and he sees like the giant bug like crawling on the ceiling and stuff, and the way that it's filmed is very like kind of crazy inducing, and he thinks he might be turning into like a monster like that too.
It's like driving him crazy, basically.
Yeah.
And Mulder starts seeing it as well. I guess they made like a bug creature and they thought it looked like crap, and so that's why it's moving so quick. I guess that wasn't the first intention, but they thought, God, this costume looks so awful. We got to make it so people can't see it. So that's why I had that effect, and it worked.
Yeah, it works really well. There's like a hostage like standoff sequence in the middle of the episode. It's pretty good too.
Yeah. Fuck you, Jack Frost, talking about Dracula 3D again in the praying mantis. It is kind of like that, though. No lie. It's kind of the same look.
The Pine Bluff variant is great. Mulder goes undercover. He's trying to infiltrate like this group. And they have like a robbery scene where there's
not really anything supernatural about it. It's just kind of
but it's
kind of like you would see in episode 24 or something.
Yep.
He's like undercover and stuff. And this is like weapon that eats the flesh off of people. This is bioweapon.
And they've sprayed all the money. Like it's not really a robbery. It's like a front. Yeah.
Government test. And they fucked up.
I remember the end too, especially the first scene with the chess player where he gets assassinated and all that. That was a huge episode at that time. I remember for like being the cliffhanger because like everybody was talking about that around that period of time too.
Yeah, they go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just go ahead.
I was just gonna say like so they attempt to assassinate Gibson Praise. And he knows it's coming, so he moves out of the way and then lets the other guy get hit. He's playing chess with.
So yeah, then Mulder's watching the tape of it, and he becomes convinced that the kid knew, like that he was getting ready to get shot, and that's why he moved. Everybody else thinks that the assassin just missed or whatever, and that's kind of like the beginning of what starts that. That's a good episode. I forgot all about that one until
they discover that he has alien DNA. Essentially, the kid. Yeah.
And that's kind of what, so right after this, between season 5 and season 6 is when they did the movie, right? So this was all kind of leading up to that,
Because at the end of this, they shut down the X-Files
Right.
Because then in the movie, that's why they're at the building that blows up, and then at the end of the movie, they reopen the X-Files, and then that goes into season 6.
Yeah, and we eventually see the leader of the syndicate in the movie, the first and only time, Conrad Strughold. And for those that probably don't know, like there's a sequence in season 3 where they go to an abandoned facility, and it says Strughold at the top. Like that's the name of the place. But that's just a little small piece of trivia.
I'll be damned. So,
and now we will be playing the PlayStation 1 game. No.
Is there anything that we missed from season 5 that is notable? Let's see.
Maybe the first 2 episodes with the mythology, because Mulder like fakes his death at the end of season 4,
right?
And it's like to expose Chief Blevins, who's the guy who put Scully with Mulder in the beginning in the first season, and they find out like he's essentially like working with the syndicate. Oh, that's classic right there.
Found this big boy.
Nice.
Back in the day, folks, this was full motion video, which didn't fill the screen. And for one game, because video took so much, there's like,
is it point and click or something like that?
It's there's 4 discs. But if you know what you're doing, you'd probably be in like, I don't know, 2-3 hours. But back in the day, it's like, this is full motion video. We got so much stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much point and click. And it's like, plays like an episode of the X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
And you play as people that you will never see again. Because for some reason they thought, nah, we're not going to play as Mulder or Scully. They don't be barely in it. And people want that game. So we're going to play people that you've never heard of and you will never see again. Because they thought that's what people wanted, I guess. What do I know?
That's right, Matt Ray.
Mimi Rogers, yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, she's in the very last episode called The End. And her character, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so her character, I think initially she was probably just put there like to, like, it's something for like Mulder and Scully to have like this love triangle thing, because like they're not really a couple. They don't have any feelings. It's totally platonic. But then when she comes in, like Scully's kind of jealous of her relationship with Mulder. And you find out that she was the original person that worked with Mulder on the X-Files before Scully did. And
that's right. Yeah.
It's somewhere in season 6, you do find out that she's like working with the cigarette smoking man, of course.
So, okay, if anybody wants to put on here, like anybody left in the chat wants to put on here, like, what your favorite episode was, I guess, from 3, 4, and 5, or any kind of questions that you have, or anything, any comments, random thoughts, anything. That would be cool, just to see like what other people's kind of favorites were from this time.
Mm-hmm.
There's some.
Oh, Matt Ray's got a good point there.
What's that?
Their office gets burnt up at the end.
Oh, yeah.
So all the X-Files get burnt up, or the majority of them.
And we're back. Check that out. Modern technology. Everyone says we went down the rabbit hole tonight. Yes, we did.
Oh, the first 2 episodes also have the introduction of the character who will be reoccurring in other seasons, Michael Krichkow, who is also a Department of Defense operative, and he more or less convinces Mulder that everything he's seen, all the stuff with aliens, it's all a smoke screen for something else, which I thought was a really bad idea to like introduce just the notion of that, because To me personally, I didn't need to see Mulder's faith tested. Like, we know what he believes, we know why he believes in it. We already believe. Why screw around with it? And I think Chris Carter did that quite a bit, like throughout not just this season, but like other seasons too, where he introduces something and then he takes it away. That was kind of like his whole thing. That happens in like season 3 as well, when they're in the train car and Scully's on the phone with him when Mulder's locked in the train car with the bomb with the red-haired man who's one of the assassins that works for the syndicate. She's like, oh, it's not really an alien in that train car that they were operating on. It's like a leper or something. And then I think the first elder, who's a syndicate member, is feeding her all this stuff, and she relays it back to Mulder, and then he's like, no way, But that's just the kind of thing that, like, I hated that Carter did throughout the show, is just go back and forth all the time, like playing with our head essentially when he didn't need to.
I think that's ultimately what destroyed the show too, is because like either he kept building up something that he had no intention of ever really like doing, and then like so he would put all these red herrings and stuff out there, and then people would get excited about what was going to be these buildups, and then he would just like nothing would happen with it, or something completely different would happen with it that you didn't want to happen. And so it kind of just burned out the audience eventually, where they just didn't give a shit about anything new that was going on in the show.
Yep.
This is John Cotties.
Exactly, yeah. So Matt says Nasai and 731 was the 2-part episode. That was my favorite from season 3. We finally hear Mulder say he was tired of losing his gun.
Yeah, and in Nasai, he Mulder, like, he puts in like for a mail order of like a alien autopsy tape, and he gets the tape and he's showing it to Scully, and basically the autopsy that's happening in the train car is authentic, but it's like pulled down off of like a satellite feed or something by a MUFON group member who they do kill. But he fights like this, I think it's a Chinese or Japanese diplomat in one scene that he chases from the guy's house. And then he starts kicking Mulder's ass, which Mulder gets his ass kicked quite a bit. And then he kicks his gun out of his hand. The guy goes to jump over the fence, and then Mulder pulls another smaller gun out of his like ankle holster, and he's like, I got tired of losing my gun. Yeah, that's a great episode. Both of those are great episodes. All the season 3 mythology stuff is some of my favorite stuff.
So you guys realize though that next week we're gonna have to do 6, 7, and 8, right?
Oh god!
So you're really gonna have your fucking work cut out for you, Mark. That's
what about the movie though? Are we gonna do the movie?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, because either we can do the movie and all that stuff, or we can do the movie separately from just the series. I don't know which one would be better.
Maybe do the movie and season 6.
Yeah, we could do that.
And then do 7 and 8
7 and 8 together. Yeah, because that kind of fits together. Yeah.
And then 9, and then the second movie, and then 10 and 11.
Jesus Christ!
If you want to do it like that, I don't know if these guys are up for that. I mean, I could do it, but
I think we got to though. We come this far. We can't fucking not go through the whole thing now.
Yeah.
Hey, you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. There's no in between.
That's right. All right. Well, I mean, we're at the 2-hour limit, and something happens at 2 hours, we turn into fucking pumpkins or something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's some sort of YouTube thing. But yeah, man, this has been awesome. Like, I love going through these old episodes because I never really remember like the seasons that the episodes were in. So it's cool to see them again like that. I thank Matt, of course, Rambo for coming on. I thank Mark, of course, for coming on, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think of what like Wes would want me to plug. We've got the Royal Rumble thing coming up.
Can't wait for that.
Saturday, I hope. That's right. I think that's right.
Nice.
So yeah,
on the road.
The Dip It on the Road.
The Dip It on the Road one.
Yeah, with the X-Files episode will be coming up. The Lost episode, he'll add that to Patreon at some point. There's probably something else, but I don't know what it would be. Anyway, Matt, you got 15 videos coming out tonight. I guarantee it. Like, so that,
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
oh shit.
Table.
So before I forget, though, before I forget, so we'll probably mention this every single time we do a new show, but like we're having a drive kind of thing to get. He wants to get 200 patrons on the thing, on Patreon, on the thing. And if we get that many, then we'll bring back like the old format of the show. So meaning like we'll do news, reviews, interviews. Like so
call-in portion too?
Call-in portion if we can figure out like how to do it. Yeah. Because I know that like Christian tried to do it, and like I don't know if you know anything about what happened with that, but it basically imploded.
No, what happened?
Well, Christian had like over at Planet CHH had a call-in segment for about a month. And so what happened was just like a bunch of people got the number and were like crank calling the whole entire fucking time. And it was live. So like, unless you do, pre-taped thing, there's no way you can do that live, man. Cause you get kicked off of YouTube with people been doing stupid shit. So yeah. Well, thank you, man. That's good. Like, I do the shit that I want to do and the shit that I love. So,
oh, cool. Thanks, dude.
Very cool.
Thanks to everybody.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoy.
Fun to remember this stuff.
So, but if anybody has anything else that they want to talk about that's coming up, I give you the floor now.
Not really. Not for me. Hopefully, finally, I can get my reviews up. I was telling Matt this recently. I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to editing. Like I go over the video scene after scene. I rewatch. I'm like, no, I got to cut this. I got to trim that. So it takes me forever to. I wish I could be like you, Matt. Like you just fucking do it. I don't know how you do that. How do you do that?
That's why my videos are so shitty.
No, dude. No.
It's not that hard. It's just you're being honest, and Uncle Bill lost his light.
I lost my lighting. Yeah. Shit like that just happens.
Yeah.
Guitars are going on.
I mentioned. Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, Stuntman, I look forward to what you do, man. I mentioned because he was on a comment on the stream. I'm like, I think the last video you had was like 10 years ago or something. Like quite a while.
Yeah, like I did. It was a convention video, like that was done. I uploaded that like 2 months ago. I've been posting some stuff to Instagram, and then I did like one short on my YouTube channel. But then you're right, like everything else like before that was like from 12 years ago, and I've been on YouTube forever. I started in like 2006, and then I kind of stopped around 2009, 2010, somewhere around there.
So here's to coming back.
I'm trying.
I don't.
For those who want to, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't like doing any kind of editing or shit like that. If I'm being perfectly honest, like it's just a pain in the ass. I'd rather do it live and just fucking get it over with. Like and just whatever happens, happens. But yeah.
I will say for people in the chat want to take a step down memory lane on Dead Pitch's channel. Uncle Bill did do a video on his top 10 favorite X-Files episodes.
I did.
I'm kind of curious if that would be the same list as today.
I doubt it because that was 15 years ago. I would about guarantee that like it's changed somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to add those season 11 episodes.
Shut the fuck up, Mark. Yeah. Oh, dude.
Well, good luck with Skinamarink. I know you have a review, right, on Patreon?
Yeah. Listen, if it's just a bunch of shit like that, then I'm probably not even gonna watch. I'll like watch parts of it and fast forward through it, but I'm not gonna sit there and just watch like a chair for 10 minutes or something. You know what I mean? Like, what's even the point?
Yeah.
It's experimental. It's artistic. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, like
that's what the director said.
Certainly sounds like it.
Yeah. I did. I've had wet dreams that are scarier than that nightmare. It ain't worth the spit.
It's amazing. The shit that catches on though is amazing that like people start talking about and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of it. I thought it was a Disney Channel movie at first.
It sounds
with the
like
title. And I'm like, oh, okay, it is great.
But
Shit.
all right, until next Thursday or Friday or whatever day that Garrett's not fucking streaming.
Because that dude's on fire
every
night. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Until we can do that, though, and I'll get up with you guys, though, but I appreciate it again. And thanks to everybody for watching and commenting and everything. We'll be back next Thursday or Friday. I'll let you all know like ahead of time.
Okay.
To do the final couple of seasons of the original run of the show. And so, yeah, man, it's been awesome. It's been a good time. I am Uncle Bill. And as for Rambo and Mark, we are out of here, man. And this, remember to fight the future, I guess.
That's right.
See y'all.
Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butts.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do.
I want you to. I don't care. Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
Hey everyone, it's Oak Early Jaws. We got some great shirts for you. We got Faces of Death Part 2. We got Creepy Stories to Tell in Kentucky. The Colonel Would Approve. We also got DeadPit.com. We got Dead Pit Radio with the little fucking Dead Pit dude on there. We got It Never Ends, a Halloween spoof parody of the new movie. We got It at Night. We got the Rat Pack, Uncle Rat himself. It just gets better and better. So go on and get you some shirts over at Team Public. It just gets better and better, boss.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Deadpit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.